Mayor, I've just started the live stream. We're ready to start whenever you're ready.
Thank you, CJ. All right, calling the June 13th, 2022 City Council Emergency Meeting to order. As noticed to the public, we may recess into executive session for legal advice on any of the agendized items. Roll call, please, Ms. Salzberg.
Mayor DC.
Here.
Vice Mayor Sweet. Vice Mayor Sweet. Oh, I see her. Councilmember Aslan.
Present.
Councilmember House.
Here.
Councilmember McCarthy.
Here.
Councilmember Salas.
Present.
Councilmember Sweet. Shimoni, I'm sorry. And I'm going to give Councilmember or Vice Mayor Sweet one more time to see if your system's working appropriately.
Yeah, if Vice Mayor might need a little assistance, if CJ, you could reach out to make sure we're getting all the audio working out for everyone. And I will note the council member is in overseas transit today, so unfortunately it seems he won't be able to be with us today, though he would like to be. And while you figured that out, though, let's, with the audio for Vice Mayor, let's get with the Pledge of Allegiance. I would like to lead it this time, if that's all right. If there's no flag, please face to your east. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And Councilmember McCarthy, our mission statement, please.
Yes, Mayor. The mission of the City of Flagstaff is to protect and enhance the quality of life for all.
Thank you. And Councilmember House, would you mind saying our land acknowledgement, please?
I would be happy to. The Flagstaff City Council humbly acknowledges the ancestral homelands of this area's indigenous nations and original stewards. These lands, still inhabited by Native descendants, border mountains sacred to indigenous peoples. We honor them, their legacies, their traditions, and their continued contributions. We celebrate their past, present, and future generations who will forever know this place as home.
Thank you, Councilmember House. That brings us to agenda item 4, discussion regarding the use of reclaimed water by Snowball for fire suppression related to the pipeline fire. City staff, take us away.
Mayor and Council, this is your City Attorney Sterling Solomon. I admittedly am not in the typical shirt and tie that I am usually in under the circumstances with some volunteering I hoped to do today. I was dressed in a t-shirt here, so I appreciate the public's indulgence and appreciate all of you understanding as well. There was an approach made to the city to see if the reclaimed water line that runs to Snowbowl could be recharged at this time. The valve opened essentially to provide fire suppression, reclaimed water to Snowbowl for fire suppression purposes. That said, we are in the process of working through that on an emergency basis. As you all know, that pipeline exists under an agreement for snowmaking. However, this would be a separate agreement for snowmaking, or excuse me, for fire suppression purposes related to the pipeline fire. We're in conversations with Snowbowl to work through that. For the public's information as well as the council, those agreements are signed by the Water Services Director. As a result, this is an opportunity essentially to make the public aware of what's happening with this under the circumstances with the pipeline fire growing as it is and the dire circumstances. We believe this is something that would be a benefit to the community And from a legal perspective, I'm looking into making sure that agreement is drafted properly as required by the Arizona Department of Environmental Quality. I want to give a major shout out to our in water services, several employees, Steve Camp, Brad Hill, Stacy Breckler-Nags was the one that brought this to me earlier today, all of whom have been very closely involved. The mayor has already issued a proclamation declaring a state of emergency due to the fire and the issues that are related to it. And this falls right in line with that. That said, it's a topic that obviously is sensitive in nature, and we wanted to make sure that you and the public were all aware. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, City Attorney. And yes, this is a very obviously an emergent situation, and it's important, though this technically it would be a managerial decision with the signature of a contract after a proclamation is made. That we collectively felt that it was important to have any concerns addressed from council members, to also make sure there was a public process in it to make sure that we are providing the proper information and being as transparent as possible in this process. So I'll first start off. Is there additional presentation or anything that staff was wanting to present before any questions may be put forward?
Mayor, I did have one more thing, if I could. A lot of people may ask about the emergency nature of the meeting. Under Rule 3.05 of the City Council's Rules of Procedure, emergency meetings are allowed, and under ARS 38-43102. That said, the notice of what the meeting was about, this emergency session that was held and setting forth the agenda and the specific items that were discussed will be posted within 24 hours pursuant to both state statute and the rule of procedure mentioned. So thank you again.
Thank you. And so just to clarify kind of a little bit of the situation is that typically the reclaimed water lines are under approval under contract for certain times of the year. Is that correct? I'm going to, be bouncing off you here, City Attorney.
No, that's fine. Specific to the entity of Snowbowl, that reclaimed water agreement it contains dates during the winter time, obviously when our demand is lowest for reclaimed water, when water is provided to them for snowmaking purposes. That said, that reclaimed water agreement references only snowmaking purposes. There are many purposes under the Arizona Department of Environmental Quality standards that allow for the use of reclaimed water, but there's no agreement in place for fire suppression. Fire suppression is one of those purposes. We don't have one of those in place with Snowbowl, and that's why we're working through that process at this moment to try and complete that, make that happen.
Thank you. And I will get a little bit more into detail on, I guess, where I understand we are going, as well as kind of some limitations to that. We're not just opening up our water lines now all of a sudden indefinitely or through, hearing some feedback there. That I would like to make sure council is comfortable, how we would like to approach this situation. This isn't carte blanche or anything like that with a legal agreement, but I do want to open it up to council if you have questions or concerns regarding this issue. Councilmember McCarthy.
Thank you, Mayor. I will note that there might be Native Americans that would be offended by this. I'm taking that into account in my deliberation here. But even with that, I suggest that we do allow this. This is a clear-cut emergency. And from a physics point, I'm not worried about it at all. I think we should go ahead. I think we should go turn the valve on immediately and let the city attorney follow up with paperwork. But this is an emergency. This isn't a time for fiddling around. So I am supportive. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember McCarthy. Other members of council who might want to chime in. Councilmember Salas?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I appreciate also the proclamation of an emergency. And since we are in a state of an emergency, it is pragmatic to use reclaimed water to suppress fire. I agree with council member. I understand there may be some sensitivities and sensibilities with regard to what our indigenous brothers and sisters may feel about using reclaimed water for fire suppression, but we have to suppress fire in our region. And if it is through by means of using reclaimed water, so be it. And also moving forward, as we look into this contracts, perhaps in all of our water contracts, we may include the use of reclaimed water for fire suppression in other contracts that use reclaimed water. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Salas. Other council members who might want to chime in. Vice Mayor Sweet.
Thank you. Given how this is such an emergency, I think it's prudent that we move forward and get this going as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Other members of council who might want to chime in or potentially have any questions regarding this. I will chime in. We need to address the situation as immediate as possible. If we have the resources up there to help fight the fire, protect our firefighters, protect wildlife, to protect people's property as well, then we need to utilize those resources. I would like to put forward, though, that this be as specific as possible as we have to deal with the legal aspect of it, that this is specifically for the emergency declaration of the pipeline fire, that any expansion into something larger should be a larger discussion regarding, hey, any emergent use of, or any emergency that this would be utilized. But this is a very specific situation we need to handle, and we can have a lengthier discussion in the future about the expansion or discussion of what it might entail in a larger picture at a later time. But now is an emergency, and I feel like we need to be specific to this specific incident while we are in these discussions. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. In discussions with officials with Snowball this afternoon, the title of the agreement, just so everyone knows, full transparency, direct delivered reclaimed water agreement for fire suppression purposes specifically related to the pipeline fire. It is being set forth for this specific purpose. As you mentioned, if there were ever a discussion about something on a larger scale, that would be a separate discussion.
Thank you for the clarification, City Attorney, and I do see Councilman McCarthy has a comment.
Actually, I think what I was going to say has been covered. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman McCarthy. Do we have any
Mayor?
other?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'll just really quickly, just chiming in to reinforce the majority direction council has already given. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Any further comments or questions from council? Or anything from the staff side that we might need, any clarification for, any additional information you might have to the public regarding this agendized item? And sorry, State Attorney, I do see Councilmember House has a comment.
Yes, I apologize. I was having some issues with my keyboard there. I just wanted to express general support along with the other members of council as well. I did want to be cognizant of both our Indigenous neighbors' concerns in this matter, and also just sharing awareness that I think we all have of, this being an emergency meeting, there perhaps not being opportunity for folks to come and make public comments as they may have wished. But I think in this situation, given the emergency our community is facing, this is really the best and wisest way for us to go. And I'm hopeful that the community will be understanding of that. So thank you.
Well said, Councilmember House, and I will note that that's, I really appreciate our staff and everyone coming together so quickly and collectively deciding to have this. It's an emergency situation that we need to be able to address, but we definitely wanted the explanation, the commentary, questions from council, and a level of transparency that though this is an emergent situation, that we need to make sure the public is informed about the reasoning why we are approaching this situation and making this decision as a government body. So, Sterling?
Yes, and just, on a personal level, obviously, we wish everybody who is involved in fighting this fire and bringing it under control the safest and the best. We really appreciate our firefighters. That's from a personal level. On a professional level, I cannot give a large enough shout out to city management, the city clerk, and so many others who have helped to coordinate not only the proclamation, but this emergency meeting here. It really is an amazing thing to see how fast it comes together with so many just capable and wonderful people. Thank you for all of your help.
Thank you, City Attorney. Well stated. With that, thank you all. Is there any further commentary or questions from council or staff before we adjourn?
This is Jim McCarthy. I just want to say that we also ought to reach our thanks out to Snowball and Mr. Murray for working with us on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember McCarthy. City Manager?
Yeah, I believe Mr. Murray is probably online with us listening. So I think your comments have probably already been heard. Thank you, Councilmember McCarthy.
You, City Manager. With that, Godspeed and well wishes to our firefighters on the front line, all the support staff, and everyone who is addressing the protection of our city, the protection of our wildlife, and our greater community. We can't be more grateful. Please stay safe, everyone. Please be on emergency notifications if your neighborhood might be a threat and you need to leave. We want everyone safe through this process of rather unprecedented times and are grateful for all the work that is being done right now to protect our city, our people, and their property and our surrounding area. With that, meeting adjourned. Thank you for all the flexibility to be able to come here today.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Thank you.